Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Nat. I am going to, these are Coco vanilla papers. So I'm going to use these today. These are, the name of this range is These Days. So I'm going to quickly show you some of the little bits and pieces from the range. So you get 2 lots of each paper and they're really soft, you know, the greens, those muted sort of colors. This is the ephemera pack. So there's lots of little bits and pieces, and I'm going to make 4 cards today. I'm going to leave a little iCard up in the corner, just linking you over to other videos that I've done with sort of ephemera packs and, you know, paper range. Some of them are Coco vanilla. I'll link to a playlist there for you. So this is a Coco vanilla. First off, I thought these are really just soft, pretty colors. So I've got these paper rose. These are little clouds. I just got these online. This is paper rose. Just have to have a quick look. They're paper rose gem flakes, and I will, over on the blog, I will link, show you, give you the code and everything for those if you happen to want to get them yourself. So first off, we're going to make a little frame. We're going to make a little shaker, if you haven't figured that out yet, with a little bit of acetate. We've just glued that down. I've got this big roll of foam tape, which I find really useful because it's thin, and obviously it's easy to make sure that it's a sealed corner. We're actually going to cut this down into 3 strips. I'm going to do it off camera mostly, but you know. So it's double thickness because it's not very thick, which still makes it not terribly thick at all. But we're going to double this one. Does that make sense? So I've got literally, you know, I've got double the foam tape, and then I'm going to double it again. One thing you need to make sure you do with shakers is give it a solid, you know, the foam up against each other. I've used a little anti-static pad, and I've just got a spoon, and we're going to scoop out some of our little bits and pieces. Give that a little bit of a shake. Carefully remove your shaker elements. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back of the house and then put my backing on it. I will trim off those little edges there because you're going to see those behind the frame once the card is all together, and of course we don't want that. This is my shaker. I'm just going to keep this flat onto the card panel now because we've got a lot of foam mount. This is where you have to be a little bit careful because obviously you've got to remember to do double the thickness, or really 4 times the thickness. So the bottom half is got all the foam tape and the top half is just going to be glued flat. So it's just in line with our frames. Next, what we're going to do is put some little bits of foam all doubled up together and just fill in a Y, making sure he's nice and secure there. I've got little hearts out of the ephemera pack now. We're going to glue those down just to frame our little frame and give it an extra little bit of interest to it. So a couple of those I've got raised up with foam mount. And that's pretty much going to be card number 1. A little bit of glossy accents. I did forget about that part. I made this video quite a while ago, so trying to remember what I did. But I know this range is still available. There is another range coming out. Card number 2 and part of card number 3. So we're going to use the outside of this frame. This is just cut to the front of our A6 card panel, Aussie A6, I should say. I'm going to raise that up a little bit. So sort of do another frame, but we're not doing a shaker this time around. And I've kept the other panel there, you can see in the top of the screen. And we're going to use him for the next card. So I'm just trying to figure out here what I want, how I want to do it. We're going to trim off the bottom and off one of the sides so he can tuck in a little bit. It just fits in better with our frame. Just double checking what I want to do. It needs something, a little something something, so we're going to play around and figure out whether, or basically what I wanted. So we're going to use this banner. So the great thing about these ephemera packs and the paper packs, that obviously they're the whole range, we know that, but they just make a quick and easy card. You can easily, if you have an afternoon, a slow afternoon, pull out an ephemera pack and pull out the paper range and just go to town, have lots of fun. So I've got the foam mount on either end of my banner here. What I'm going to do is on those two center ones, we're going to also raise those up a little bit, just to have a little bit of extra dimension. A little bit of Stardust Stickles, just here, there, and everywhere. A little bit of Tiz, a little bit of bling, and that's going to be card number 2. So we've just got a little bit of background to it, a little bit of border to it. So our middle panel, don't let it go to waste. This stuck me for a little while because I sort of wanted to use this bike, but it's not going to fit in with what I had in my mind. So we're going to play around with some of the ephemera die cuts and figure out which one I want. I think that had a little bit of something cut down the bottom. What can I tell you at the moment? Nothing. Here in Australia, it is the 26th of September. We are still in lockdown. We are about not even 4 days, I don't think now. I think they're talking that on Tuesday we will have 80% of people that have had one jab, and soon, I think it's around the 26th of October, we're going to hit, like, I can't remember whether it's 60 or 70% of people having a second double jab. So that's when they're sort of going to open up little bits and pieces. Let's get back to this card, because Corona, we've been there, done that. It's boring. But there's nothing else to talk about apart from the card. And when I was looking through the ephemera pack, there was nothing else to talk to you about there too either. So we've got the books. We've got a cupcake, not a cupcake, a teacup that I've trimmed off the bottom just to be able to tuck him under the books a little bit. So he looks like he's the one with the books. We're going to bling up our books with a little bit of Stardust Stickles. And that is the good stuff. Card number 4. So I've pulled out this rainbow-ish stripy range. I am going to roughly cut out, well, not roughly cut out, I'm going to probably cut out, but I'm going to just roughly mark out with pencil what my border is. And honestly, that's what I do most of the time. I just trim out pretty much what I want, and then when I die cut or trim it down, I will place my element in the middle. Don't be scared of cutting up your ephemera packs. It's a waste of some pretty good little ephemera pieces when you have a great big amount of the ephemera stuck behind a panel that you cannot see. So use those. So we're going to raise that up, and then we'll tuck our little elements in behind this front panel. So all the information will be linked down below over to Leslie from Little Bits in Keysborough, Melbourne. This is a video for her. She would be happy to post out anything. I know I was there the other day. I know that we've still got some of this paper range, and I think some of the die cuts still available. So it's just an easy, I mean, you have to think about it still, but you know, you don't really have to think about it all that hard, because everything, the colors and everything all are in line with each other. This panel is going to be raised up as well, so I get a lot of dimension on this card. And that is card number 4. I think I'm going to put a little bit of stickles on it too. I do like me some stickles. No, we're going to use some Nuvo. This one was called Saddlebag. This is not something Leslie has. This is just stuff out of my stash, but you could easily use a Copic for some little bits of diamantes or some enamel dots, some clear enamel dots. And see, I told you, and some Stardust stickles. So that's my card. I hope you enjoy. I hope you're all well. Here in Australia, we're starting to warm up a little bit, so that is awesome. There's my 4 cards. I'll carefully place this out. That's it. Take care. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.